The doorbell rang like a gunshot in the quiet of our Friday night. I froze, fork halfway to my mouth, as my wife, Sarah, shot me a look that said, "Who the hell is that?" Before I could answer, the door creaked open, and there he was, Jake, my brother-in-law, standing on our porch with two bulging suitcases and a grin that didn't reach his eyes. "Surprise," he said, voice too loud for the stillness of our suburban street. He looked like he'd been dragged through a hedge backward, hair matted, shirt wrinkled, eyes sunken like he hadn't slept in days. Sarah's face tightened, but she plastered on a smile. I knew that smile. It was the one she used when she was about to lose it, but didn't want to make a scene. "Jake," she said, her tone a razor wrapped in silk. "What's this?" He dropped his bags with a thud, the sound echoing like a gavel in my gut. "I just need a place to crash for a bit," he said, stepping inside without an invitation. "You know, to recharge. Recharge." That word hung in the air like a bad smell. No return ticket, no plan, just Jake, his suitcases, and the audacity to think our home was his personal Airbnb. I should have seen it coming. Jake had always been a drifter, the kind of guy who floated through life on charm and excuses. He'd been like this since we were kids, me. The responsible older brother, him, the reckless dreamer who thought the world owed him a favor. When Sarah and I got married, he'd shown up to the wedding 3 hours late, drunk, with a +1 nobody knew. Now, 5 years later, here he was again, dragging chaos into our carefully built life. Sarah and I had worked hard for this house. 2 years of saving, skipping vacations, eating instant noodles to afford the down payment. It wasn't much, a modest 3-bedroom with a leaky faucet and a backyard too small for a dog, but it was ours. We'd made it a home, filled it with love and plans for the future. A future that didn't include Jake turning our guest room into his personal flop house. "Jake, what's going on?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. He flopped onto our couch, kicking off his sneakers like he owned the place. "Just hit a rough patch," he said, waving a hand like it was no big deal. "Lost my job, got evicted, figured I'd come stay with family. You guys are family, right?" He grinned again, but it was brittle, like he was daring us to say no. Sarah's eyes flicked to me, a silent plea. "Handle this." But how do you handle a man who shows up with no warning, no exit strategy, and expects you to roll out the red carpet? I wanted to grab him by his wrinkled collar and demand answers. Why us? Why now? But instead, I said, "How long are you planning to stay?" "Oh, he said, leaning back, hands behind his head, "till I get back on my feet." That was day 1. By day 3, Jake had turned our home into his personal playground. He left dishes in the sink, his socks on the living room floor, and helped himself to our fridge like it was an all-you-can-eat buffet. He'd sleep till noon, then spend hours on our couch, scrolling through his phone, muttering about figuring things out. Sarah was livid, her patience fraying like an old rope. "He's not a guest, Tom," she whispered one night in bed, her voice trembling with anger. "He's a parasite." I couldn't argue, but kicking him out wasn't so simple. Jake was family, and family was supposed to mean something. My mom had drilled that into me growing up. You take care of your own, no matter what. Besides, Jake wasn't just a freeloader, he was broken. I saw it in the way he stared out the window, eyes distant, like he was searching for something he'd lost. I didn't know what had happened to him, some bad breakup, a failed business. Who knows, but I couldn't just toss him out. Not yet. Sarah, though, wasn't buying it. "He's not your responsibility," she said one morning over coffee, her voice low so Jake wouldn't hear. "We're not his parents. We're barely keeping ourselves afloat." She was right. Our savings were dwindling, bills piling up. We'd been planning to start a family, but with Jake here, that dream felt further away than ever. Then came the breaking point. It was a Saturday, 2 weeks into Jake's recharge. I came home from work to find him in our backyard, smoking a cigarette and talking loudly on his phone. "Yeah, man. I'm just chilling at my sister's place," he said, laughing. Free food, free bed. It's like a vacation. Something snapped inside me. I stormed outside, grabbing the phone from his hand. This isn't a damn hotel. Jake, I said, my voice shaking. He blinked, surprised, but didn't back down. Chill, Tom, he said. I'm not hurting anyone. Not hurting anyone, I snapped. You're eating our food, using our electricity, taking up space in our lives. You didn't even ask. He stood up, towering over me, his face hardening. You think I want to be here. You think I like depending on you. His voice cracked, and for the first time, I saw something raw in his eyes. Shame, maybe, or fear. I've got nowhere else to go. Man, that stopped me cold. I wanted to yell, to tell him to grow up and get out, but the words stuck in my throat. Sarah appeared at the door, her arms crossed, watching us like a hawk. Jake, she said, her voice calm but firm. You can't stay here forever. You need a plan. He looked between us, his bravado crumbling. I know, he muttered, sinking back onto the lawn chair. I don't know where to start. That night, Sarah and I talked. Really talked. She admitted she was scared not just of Jake overstaying, but of what it meant for us. I don't want to lose what we've built, she said, tears in her eyes. But I also don't want to be the kind of person who turns family away. I held her, feeling the weight of her words. We were stuck between duty and survival, between love and resentment. The next morning, I sat Jake down. No yelling, no ultimatums, just the truth. We love you, I said, but this isn't working. You're not recharging, you're stalling. We'll help you, but you need to meet us halfway. To my surprise, he didn't argue. He nodded, staring at his hands. I didn't mean to mess things up, he said quietly. I thought I could fix myself here. Over the next week, we made a plan. Sarah found a local job board and printed out listings. I helped Jake update his resume, though it was a mess of half-finished gigs and vague consulting jobs. We set a deadline 1 month to find work in a place of his own. It wasn't easy. Jake dragged his feet, made excuses, but slowly, he started showing up. He got a part-time job at a warehouse, then a second interview at a hardware store. He wasn't fixed, but he was trying. One night, as we sat around the dinner table Jake's last night with us, he looked different. Not the cocky drifter who'd shown up with suitcases, but a man starting to find his footing. Thanks, he said, his voice low. I know I screwed up, but you guys, you didn't have to help me. Sarah reached across the table, squeezing his hand. That's what family does, she said. But don't pull this crap again. We all laughed, the tension breaking like a wave. Jake moved out the next day, into a tiny studio apartment he could barely afford. It wasn't much, but it was his. As we watched him drive away, suitcases crammed into his beat-up car, Sarah leaned into me. We did the right thing, she said. But God, I'm glad it's over. I nodded, feeling the weight lift from our home. We'd survived Jake's invasion, but it had changed us. We were stronger. Maybe, but also more aware of how fragile our little world was. Family isn't just about opening your door. It's about knowing when to set boundaries, when to say enough. What do you think? Where's the line between helping family and protecting your own peace? Share your thoughts. And